in Judaism has a key sin, right? So from the Jewish perspective, we see Jesus as a prophet, not as the Messiah, and his key sin is saying that he is God. That is his major sin to us.
Right.
And that's not just because of the rise and fall. We talk about how many of the prerequisites to being Messiah is being the son of the house of Jacob. But if divine immaculate exception is the case, you can't be son of a certain tribe. So there's some certain things that we say, not trying to invalidate anything, that why he is not our Messiah. And going back to that point, it's like, if Jesus is not our Messiah, if he was the Messiah, he would have brought in all the Jews. I'm a Jew that follows the Old Testament, the old laws. Not everyone switched over. And why would that be the case if he really did fulfill the Jewish role of Messiah? And I don't think that's the case. And I think that goes back to, not saying my religion is one way or the other, but mine is my path to God. I don't see why Jesus is the best path to people who might be Hindu, Sikh, Christian, or whatever. In Judaism, we have something called the no-high laws. We have 7 rules. It's like, don't kill, pretty simple stuff like that. The things we might call natural laws.
Right.
That apply to everybody. And like, you're good in Judaism if you do that. But those are like really simple things. Why would we need to be held to a Christian standard that could do?
Okay. Do you think that the Torah is narrow-minded when it insists, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself"? Is that narrow-minded intolerance of polytheism? Do you think there's one God, or do you think there are many gods? Obviously, the Torah insists there's one true God. You think it's lying? Is it narrow-minded and bigoted, or is it speaking the truth? What do you think?
I personally, it functions for me as true, but I objectively don't feel like I can validate that beyond someone else's. So, in my perspective, I get value out of my religion, and through experiencing it and practicing in it is how I build a relationship with God, but it's the practice. It's not necessarily the fact that it's monotheism, it's one God. It's that through the commandments of God, I try to live a better life. And that works for me through my religion, and that could be true to a polytheistic religion too.
How on earth can you honestly read the Torah and walk away saying you can be a polytheist? How can you read Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, the way they confronted the polytheism of Assyria, Babylonia, the Canaanites? How can you stand here and say, I follow the Torah and polytheism is an option?
Because it's not predicated on converting others. You can be polytheistic and still be good in the eyes of the Jewish people. The 7 Noahide laws say nothing about believing in one God. My personal belief is I think those arguments are strong. I do believe in monotheism, but I don't think that it's invalidating a polytheism. Like, I don't think that necessarily excludes you from living a good life and a moral life.
All right, let's be real clear. I got a lot of atheist friends and a lot of agnostic friends. Every single one of them is a really good person. And I celebrate that. All of my atheist friends are really, really good people. But we obviously contradict each other when it comes to the existence of God. My atheist friends are convinced there is no God. I am convinced that God is real and that Jesus Christ is God in human form. And I think it's highly disrespectful for me to look into my atheist friend's face and say, we believe the same thing about God. No, we don't. He's convinced there is no God. I'm convinced there is a God. Now, unfortunately, both cannot be true. There cannot be no God and, yes, there is a God at the same time. The law of non-contradiction holds true. Like it or not, it's not something I made up. A and non-A cannot both be true at the same time in the same way. It's impossible. So either my atheist friend is correct, there is no God, or else I'm correct. There is a God. What's true? If there is no God, morality is relative. You make it up in your head, the Chinese make it up in their heads, the KKK make it up in their head, the white South African makes it up in their head. It's all relative. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong, because you can't empirically prove it. So therefore, if my preference is to go up to her, punch her lights out, that's my preference. My preference is not wrong, my preference is not right. My preference just is, and you've got your preferences, which might agree with me at times, might disagree, but you're not right, I'm not wrong, I'm not right, you're not wrong. Now, theism, a belief in God, says trash, baloney to that. Theism, a belief in Jesus Christ, says she is a precious human being created in the image of God, which means she has dignity, value, and significance. Furthermore, Jesus Christ and theism teach that God created me for a purpose, and that purpose was not to walk up to her and punch her. The purpose that God gave me a hand and a mind was to love her and to respect her. Tolerance is not me saying, you're an atheist and I'm a theist. We believe the same thing. That's tolerance. No, that's not tolerance. That's being brain dead. Brain dead. It's not respecting a person enough to listen to understand what they believe. Tolerance is, you and I disagree. I still respect you. Why would I respect you? Because I'm convinced you're not just a gorgeous hunk of primordial slime evolved to higher order. You're a human being created in the image of God. And God created me to respect you and not to disrespect you. And so tolerance is Jesus bleeding and dying on a cross, praying for those who nailed him to the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.